Hello friends and welcome. So in this video we are going to talk about prospectus and the all aspects related to the prospectus. So let's start this video. First, what will be the content of this video? Number 1, definition of prospectus, essentials of prospectus, issue of prospectus, content of prospectus means the matters which will be included in prospectus, statements in lieu of prospectus, types of prospectus, process of filling and issuing prospectus, misstatement in prospectus, and the conclusion. So this all content we are going to see in this video. So let's start this video. Definition. The Companies Act 2013 defines a prospectus under section 2 subsection 70 that prospectus can be defined as any document which is described or issued as a prospectus. So this is the definition as per Companies Act 2013. So this includes notice, circular, advertisement, or any other documents as an invitation to offers from the public. So such an invitation to offer should be for the purchase of any securities of a corporate body. So from this point, what we have understood that the any invitation which is given by the company to public to subscribe these securities, it means debentures or shares, that document will be called as a prospectus, which include, as I said, notice, circular, or any advertisement or any other documents. Prospectus can be defined as a any document described or published as a prospectus, and it includes notices, circulars, advertisement, or any other document acting as an invitation to offers from the public. So from this point we simply understand what is a prospectus. Next, what are the essentials for a document to be called as a prospectus? Any documents, what are the requirements for that documents to be called as a prospectus? Number one, to consider the certain document as a prospectus, following points are essential or requirements. The document should invite the general public for subscription of the shares. That is first uh, requirement, the first point, first essentials. Second, it must be made to the general public. The invitation must be for the general public. Third, it must be made by the company. The invitation must be made by the company. Next, it should relate to shares, debentures, and such other information pertaining to the company. So, these uh, 4 points must be fulfilled by the document. If so, that document will be called as a prospectus. Next, issue prospectus. The issue prospectus is defined under Section 26 of the Companies Act 2013. If a company does not issue prospectus before 90 days from the date from which a copy was delivered before the registrar, then it is considered to be invalid. So, once you register your prospectus with the registrar of the company, you have to issue such prospectus within 90 days. Do if you do not issue that prospectus within that stipulated period, your prospectus will be invalid. Next, if a prospectus was issued in contravention under section 26 of the Companies Act, then the company can be punished with a fine of rupees 50,000, which may exceed up to rupees 3 lakh. Next, every public company is entitled to issue the prospectus for its shares or debentures. So every public company, while inviting the public to subscribe their shares or debentures, they have to publish and issue prospectus. Next, content of prospectus. So what are the contents or matters must be included in the prospectus? Number one, registered company office address. So uh, let me know you that the prospectus will contain all the information about the company only, and their functions and their uh, important aspects which will be important from uh, public's point of view. So number one, register company office address, the must be included in a prospectus. Next, details of company secretary, auditors, bankers, and underwriters. So in prospectus, while inviting the public to subscribe their shares, company has to give their company secretary name, auditor's name, banker's name, and underwriters who are their underwriters in this issue. Next, opening and closing dates of issue. So when the issuing of shares will start and when it will be ended. Next, allotment letters and refunds declaration within the prescribed time. Next, details of separate bank account where all money will be transferred and a statement by the board of directors about that bank account. So a separate bank account, their details, and the statement from the board of directors regarding that separate bank account must be included in a prospectus. Next, underwriting of the issue and their details. Next, consent of the directors, auditors, bankers to the issue and experts' opinion, if any. So, if any expert opinion is there, that must be included in the prospectus, and consent, the approval from the board of directors, auditors, and bankers must be included in a prospectus. Next, the authority for the issue and the details of the resolution passed thereof. So, the resolution must be passed before issuing such shares or debentures, and that resolution, who are the authority for the issue, who are the authority for the issue, must be included in the prospectus. Next point: procedure and time schedule for allotment and issue of securities. What will be the procedures and schedule of allotment of shares? The capital structure of the company with the comprehensive outlook. It means the structure in prospectus, company structure must be included, like authorized capital or issued subscribed capital and so on. So, or equity share capital and preference share capital, or it means regarding overlook, the complete look of the capital structure must be given in the prospectus of the company. Next, main objects and present location of the business of the company. So every issue has a certain purpose behind it. That purpose must be disclosed in the prospectus. Company has should company should disclose their objectives or motive behind this issue, and that must be reflected in the prospectus. Next, public offer and terms of the present issue and its objectives. Next, minimum subscription amount payable by way of premium. If it is a premium, the premium amount, minimum subscription to subscribe that shares uh, must be included in the prospectus. Next, appointment and remuneration details of the directors. So, who are the directors, their remuneration and their appointment, that must be included in the prospectus. Sources of promoters contribution, sources of promoters uh, rules, sources of promoters contributions, so how promoters has contributed to the company, that must be included in the prospectus. So these are the content of the prospectus. So these content will be included in the prospectus. Next point is that statement in lieu of prospectus. So company, if company if it is not possible for the company to issue a prospectus, to register a prospectus, at that time company can issue a statement in lieu of prospectus. Company issue the statement, that statement is called as a statement in lieu of prospectus. So every public company either issue prospectus or file a statement in lieu of prospectus. That is, if it is not possible for a company to issue a prospectus, in such cases, company issue a statement. That statement will be called as a in lieu of prospectus. This is not a mandatory for a private company. The provisions regarding the statement in lieu of prospectus have been stated under Section 70 of the Companies Act 2013. Next, that's it about statement in lieu of prospectus. Next point, the kinds of prospectus, types of prospectus. There are four types of prospectus. Number one, red herring prospectus. shelf prospectus, abridged form of prospectus, and deemed prospectus. So let's see one by one. Number one, red herring prospectus. So what is red herring prospectus? Red herring prospectus lacks the complete particular about the quantum of prices of the securities. In this prospectus, the complete particular about the quantum of the price of the securities is not mentioned. They do not give complete information about the prices of securities. Next, the prospectus is issued prior to the issue of prospectus when it is proposing to make an offer of the securities. This kind of prospectus is issued before the actual issue of the prospectus, proposing offer, inviting public for the securities to subscribe the shares. Red herring prospectus needs to be filed with the registrar at least 3 days prior to the opening of the subscription list or the offer. The obligations carried by a red herring prospectus are same as a prospectus. So rules and regulations regarding red herring prospectus will be same as a prospectus. If there is any variation between red herring prospectus and prospectus, then it should be highlighted in the prospectus as a variation. So if there is a changes in red herring prospectus and actual prospectus, in this case, that the differences, that variation must be highlighted in the prospectus as a variation. So the public will understand the what is the differences or variation in between both. Next, next type of prospectus is shelf prospectus. So this prospectus is issued when company issue a different class of securities or class of shares. So issued by any public financial institution, company or bank for any or more issues of securities or class of securities as I mentioned in the prospectus. So the benefit of this prospectus is when you issue for class of shares, when you want to issue a class of shares, you need not to file a new prospectus. You need not to register new prospectus. When a sale prospectus is issued, then the issuer does not need to issue a separate prospectus for each offering. He can offer or sell securities without issuing any further prospectus. That is the benefit of issuing shelf prospectus. Next, the provisions related to shelf prospectus has been discussed under Section 31 of the Companies Act 2013. Next, the company that is filing a shelf prospectus is required to file the information memorandum. Then what is a information memorandum? So let's understand. The information memorandum consists of all the facts regarding the new charges created, what changes have undergone in the financial position of the company since the first offer of security or between the two offers. So that is all about shelf prospectus. Now move to the next, abridged prospectus or abridged form of prospectus. The abridged prospectus is a summary of a prospectus filed before the registrar. It is a summary of the prospectus. It contains all the features of the prospectus. An abridged prospectus contains all the information of a prospectus in brief so that it should be convenient and quick for an investors to know all the useful information in a short. Provisions related to abridged prospectus has been discussed under Section 2, Subsection 1 of Companies Act 2013. So, this is abridged form of prospectus. In simple words, it is a summary of prospectus. It contains all the feature of the prospectus, but in short, which will be helpful for the investors to look up to and take a quick decision regarding investments. So, and provisions related to abridged form of prospectus has been discussed under Section 2, Subsection 1 of the Companies Act 2013. Now, next, deemed prospectus. So when any company to offer securities for sale to the public alerts or agrees to alert securities, the document will be considered as a deemed prospectus through which the offer is made to the public for a sale. The document is deemed to be prospectus of a company for all the purposes, and all the provisions of a content and liabilities of a prospectus will be applied upon it. Provisions related to deemed prospectus has been discussed under section 25 subsection 1 of Companies Act 2013. So it is prospectus for the sale of securities. Next, process for filling and issuing prospectus. Application form. So what will be the procedure? Number one, application form. Section as per section 33. Application form for the securities is issued only when they are accompanied by memorandum. So memorandum is important with the prospectus application. Filling of copy with the registrar. The prospectus is not to be issued by a company or on its behalf unless on or before the date of publication a copy of the prospectus is delivered to the registrar for registration. The copy should be signed by the every person whose name has been mentioned in the prospectus as a director or proposed director or the assigned attorney on his behalf. Next, delivery of copy of the prospectus to the registrar. The prospectus should mention that its copy has been delivered to the registrar on its face. The statement should also mention the document submitted to the registrar along with the copy of the prospectus. Next, registration of the prospectus. This section states about the registration of the prospectus by the registrar. Registrar checks all the contents and registers the prospectus. So this is the process or procedure of filling of and issuing of the prospectus. Next, misstatement in a prospectus. So it is again very much important part of prospectus. So what is the misstatement? So you can understand the word from misstatement. It means the statement which is given who is not matching with the company. It means it is a wrong statement or false statement or misleading statement. So if so, let's understand the what is misstatement. If the prospectus contains a misleading or untrue information or statements, any inclusion or omission of any matter which is probably to mislead will also be considered as a misstatement. In such case, the liability of the company, the directors, promoters, and others who authorized the issue can be held liable for such untrue or misleading information. These liability can be classified into three categories that we are going to see. But before that category, we have to understand what is the misstatement. So, misstatement means any misleading or untrue information which is stated in the prospectus, which may mislead to the public regarding the issue of the securities. So while while drafting the prospectus, the authority person, the directors or the promoters or any authorized person uh, should take care about their about his statement about the what are the statements included in the prospectus. So let's see the liability if a misstatement is given in the prospectus. So civil liability. So against the company and against the board of directors and experts. So against what are the against company? Cancellation of the contract and damages for frauds. So that will be against the company. So any misleading information is provided in the prospect, the contract will be cancelled, and the whatever damages happen to the concerned person or public, that will be given by the company. And against the directors and promoters and experts, that is damage for misstatement and damages for non-disclosure of material facts. So this is the liability of the company and directors and promoters. Next, that is the criminal liability. Every person who authorized the issue will be fined up to rupees 50,000 or with imprisonment up to 2 years or with both. And anyone who intentionally makes a misstatement in prospectus to give benefit to particular person will punished with imprisonment up to 5 years or with fine up to rupees 1 lakh or both. Liability under the law of contract. Shareholders can recover the damages from all or any of the person responsible for the issue. Also, shareholders can resign the contract if he or she have entered into such contract relying on the prospectus. So, that damages shareholders will recover their damages from the person who is responsible for the such issue, and if that shareholders has entered into any contract relying on such prospectus, relying on such misstatement, that contract will be cancelled. Next, so that was the misstatement and their liability for the misstatement, their civil liability and criminal liability. Now we are moving to the end of this video, that is conclusion. So from this all the discussion and all the content, what we can conclude is a prospectus is a formal and legal document issued by a body corporate. It is a document inviting offers from the public for subscription or purchase of securities. Every public company is entitled to issue the prospectus for its shares or debentures, but the same is not required for a private company. The prospectus is not required for a private company. A prospectus, for being a valid one, it must contain essential requisites and it must be registered. If any prospectus is not registered, it is considered as an invalid one, and with contravention to provisions laid down for the valid prospectus, such contravention is punishable under section 26, subsection 9. There is a different kinds of prospectus for different issues. So, prospectus plays an important role for any public company and it must be under the provisions laid down under the Companies Act 2013. So, this is the from this video about prospectus, their matters, and all their procedures, all their legal aspects of the prospectus. So, that's it from this video. Thank you.